Assalamu alaikum. I welcome you all for class 10 subject science. So today we are going to start a new topic, that is life process. What is the meaning of it? How do we tell a person is alive or not? How do we tell the difference between what is alive and what is not alive? If we see a dog running or a cow chewing cud or a man shouting loudly on the street, we know that these are living beings. What if the dog or the cow or the man were asleep? If they are sleeping, we'll come to know whether they are alive or no. We would still think that they were alive. But how did we know that? We see them breathing and we know that they are alive. What about plants now? How do we know that they are alive? We see them green. Some of us will say, but what about plants that have leaves of colors other than green? They grow over time. So we know that they are alive. Some will say, in other words, we tend to think some sort of movement, either growth related or not, as common evidence for being alive. But a plant that is not visibly growing is still alive, and some animals can breathe without visible movement. So, using visible movement as defining characteristic of life is not enough. So, only by seeing we cannot say whether a thing is living or non-living. So, how do we say means? Movement over very small scale will be invisible to the naked eye movement of molecules. For example, is this invisible molecular movement necessary for life? If we ask this question to professional biologists, they will say yes. In fact, viruses do not show any molecular movement in them until they infect some cell. And that is partly why there is a controversy about whether they are truly alive or no. Only by seeing the movement we cannot say anything is alive or no. We have seen in earlier classes that living organisms are well organized structure. Then how will we know they are living or non-living? Means by seeing their cell structure. They can have tissues have cells have smaller components in them, and so on. Because of the effects of environment, this organized order, nature of living structure is very likely to keep breaking down over time. If order breaks down, the organism will no longer be alive. So, living creature must keep repairing and maintaining their structure. Since all these structures are made up of molecules, they must move molecules all around all the time. Means they have the cells in them. Thus, if they contain the cells and the movement of cells is there, then we say anything is living or non-living. All the living characteristics have the smallest component, that is the cell. So we learnt about the living. Now what is life process here? Now to maintain these living things, we need what? We need to maintain all the functions. The maintenance function of living organism must go on even when they are not doing any particular work. Even when we are sitting in class, even if we are just asleep, this maintenance job has to go on. The process which together perform the maintenance job are life process. Now, if after eating the food, if you sleep, what happens? The food will be like that only? No. The digestion goes on in your body. If you are asleep also, the process will be going on. If you are asleep, what about the breathing? How do we breathe? You will come to know. No. We are breathing. If we stop breathing, then we are dead. Yes? Yes. So the life process will go on even you are asleep or if you are wake up also. It should continue. For this continuation, they need the food. They need nutrition. So what is the meaning of nutrition? Means the energy. So how do we get the energy? We get energy from the food. The intake of food is known as nutrition. All about here is the life process. All the process which are necessary to maintain life in an organism are called life processes. To maintain all kind. Now in this lesson, what kind of process we are learning is, we are learning about the nutrition, respiration, transportation, excretion, nutrition of plant and animal, respiration of plants and animals, transportation in plants and animal, excretion in plants and animal. So first we will take the nutrition in plants. So what is the mode of nutrition? How do we get food? Now nutrition means taking of food. Okay, taking intake of food is known as nutrition. In nutrition there are different nutrients. What are the different nutrients present? That is carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals which are present in the nutrition. So how does this nutrition get in the living organism? There are mainly two type of nutritions. Which are those? That is autotropic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. What about the autotropic means? Autotrophs means which prepare their own food. Okay, autotrophs are the animals which prepare, that is not the animals, the organism which prepare their own food are known as autotropic organism. Example, green plants and blue-green algae which prepare their own food. The second type is heterotrophic organism. They depend on others for their food. Okay, heterotrophic nutrition heterotrophic organism means which depend on the others for their food. Okay, directly or indirectly these heterotrophs are depending on autotrophs. In heterotrophic nutrition there are three types. Basically there are three types. That is, the first one is the saprophytic. Okay, what is the meaning of saprophytic organism? Means the organisms which depend on dead and decay plants. Okay, dead and decay plants. They eat the dead and decay plants. So those are known as saprophytic organisms. Example is yeast. Okay, then comes the parasitic. Parasitic organisms are they depend on other animals. For example, the mosquito or the lice, or we can say bed bugs. What happens, even in the plants, the cuscuta plant or the plasmodium plant, they live on the other plant. Okay, in Urdu they say amar bel. Even that plant is a parasitic plant. They eat the other plants. They will not make it die, but they are depending on other plants or other animals. Okay, those are parasitic animals, parasitic organism. Then comes the third is the holozoic organism. Holozoic organisms are organisms which depend on others for their food. But why it is named holozoic? Means they will intake all the food and the digestion goes inside their body. Example here is man, dog, amoeba. Man eats different kinds of food. Yes or no? We eat different kinds of food. All the food we eat, it will go inside our body and the digestion goes inside our body. Once the digestion goes inside our body, it is known as holozoic mode of nutrition. So now what is autotropic nutrition? The process by which the green plants synthesize food. Okay, so they prepare their own food. How they prepare? It is known as autotropic. Now we are going to learn here. Carbon and energy requirements of autotropic organisms are fulfilled by photosynthesis. It will be made by photosynthesis. A photosynthesis is a process by which autotrophs take in substance from the outside and convert them into stored forms of energy. This material is taken in the form of carbon dioxide and water, which is converted into carbohydrates in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Carbohydrates are utilized for providing energy to plants. So how the green plants prepare their food? By the use of carbon dioxide and water from the soil, and the energy, that is the sunlight, is very important for the preparation of the food. Okay, it is prepared in the leaves of the plant, that is green leaves, in the presence of chlorophyll. Okay, with the presence of chlorophyll, the carbon dioxide mixes with water. In the presence of sunlight, it makes that is what? Carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are nothing but the starch or the glucose which have, and release of oxygen will take place. Now let us now see what actually happens during the process of photosynthesis. The following events occur during this process. Now here you can see, that is the carbon dioxide mixes with water to form sugar and oxygen. Now here what actually is happening? First, the absorption of light energy by the chlorophyll. First, what is happening? The leaf will absorb the what? Carbon dioxide. The leaf is having the chlorophyll, so it will absorb the light energy. Then the light energy is converted to chemical energy. What it is converted? To chemical energy and splitting of water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, in the form of hydrogen and oxygen it will break. The third step, reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrates. What's happening here? You can see the carbon dioxide mixes with water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. It gives rise to sugar, that is C6H12O6 plus O2. What's actually happening? The breaking of water molecule is happening. This hydrogen mixes with carbon dioxide and makes a carbohydrate, and the oxygen is released.